You know that saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression? Well, it's true, and perhaps even more so in Russian. Today, I'm going to give you 10 different ways to make an initial greeting with someone. We're going to start at the very formal, how you might start a job interview, all the way down to the very informal, how you might greet your friends on the street. Давайте познакомимся. Let's make introductions. Всем привет. Меня зовут Jared, я делаю русский язык легким. Hey everybody, my name's Jared and I make the Russian language easy. Let's get started with the 10 ways that you can say hello in Russian. We're going to start with the very formal, work down to the informal. The first, and this is the one that they always teach you in school, it's kind of a mouthful, but it's Здравствуйте. I'm going to say it a few more times just so you can hear it again. Здравствуйте. Здравствуйте. Try repeating that after me, and I'm going to put right here on the screen how it phonetically sounds in English. Здравствуйте. Здравствуйте. Repeat that out loud if you can. Здравствуйте. Здравствуйте. That's the formal and the common way that you'll hear all the time over there. Then they have two kind of little offshoots to that, and this is kind of the less formal and then the really informal. You see how it's здравствуйте. That's the formal form. If you know the command form and verbs, you'll recognize that ending. If you don't worry about it. Or you can say здравствуй. You just drop off the che at the end. Здравствуй. And that is the informal, but still kind of formal hello. Здравствуй. Or you can kind of truncate it all together and just say здрасте. That's very informal. Здрасте. Здрасте. Okay, the next one is also a very common one that you're going to learn probably day one in school, and they're probably going to teach it to you as как дела. That's how are your doings. But I'm going to throw another little personal pronoun in there. How are your doings? Just to make it a little more formal. Как ваши дела. Как ваши дела. So it's how are your doings, literally. How are your doings or how are you doing? Как ваши дела. And you don't always just want to say the exact same thing every time you see someone. Здравствуйте, как дела. Especially if you're seeing them a couple times. You want them to know that, hey, not only can I speak Russian, but I know it well enough that I can make connections with people. So the next few ways are still the formal way of saying, how are you doing, or making a greeting. But it adds a little bit variety, mixes it up a little bit. Как вы поживаете? And that's, how are you getting along? Как вы поживаете? Okay, the next one is, как вы живете? And that literally is, how are you living? I think you kind of get that. We don't normally say that in English, how are you living, but you get what it's saying there. Как вы живете? Okay, here's another one. Рад вас видеть. It's 3 words. Рад вас видеть. I'm happy to see you. Рад вас видеть. For those last few that I just gave you, you can also change them from the вы form to the ты form. Now, if you know the difference between вы and ты, you know that the вы is the formal, the ты is informal. If you don't know those differences, I'm going to put a link to a video right here that I made that explains those differences there. But you can take those last 4 introductions and just change them from вы to ты, and it still sounds just as good. So I'm going to go through them really quick. Here's the ты introductions. Как твои дела? Как ты поживаешь? Как ты живешь? And рад тебя видеть. So one is just the вы form, the other is the ты form. Before we get to the informal, I want to give you 3 other ways of kind of making introductions. You're going to see and hear them over there, so that's why I'm going to teach them to you, but you're probably not going to use them a whole lot. The first one is добро пожаловать, and that means welcome. So you'll see that on a lot of store windows, or you'll hear that, if you walk into a store, someone will say, добро пожаловать, welcome, come on in, sort of thing. You probably aren't going to say that to people on the street, just like you wouldn't say that here in America, right? You wouldn't say, welcome. It's just добро пожаловать, but it is a greeting and you will hear it over there. So I wanted to teach it to you. The next one is kind of older Russian and it's very formal and you don't hardly ever hear it unless you're at a meeting or a lecture or some sort of formal gathering. And you know how when the speaker here in America gets up, they'd say, hello, we would like to welcome all of the ladies and gentlemen here. And they get kind of formal. They talk about that. You hear this one quite a bit in that setting. And the way that they say that is, Я приветствую вас. Я приветствую вас. I say hello to you, or I say hi to you is literally what it means. You rarely, in fact, I don't think I ever heard it on the street out there, but I did hear it in meetings almost all the time. And then the last one here is allo. And that's pretty easy, right? It sounds like our English hello, but the only time you're going to say allo is when you're on the phone. They always answer the phone with allo. They don't say здравствуйте or привет, which we're going to get to in a minute here. They just say allo. So that's the telephone greeting, and you're going to need that one for obvious reasons. Let's shift now from the formal or the normal, and those others you can use with your friends. It doesn't mean it's so formal that you wouldn't greet your friends that way, but it's just a little more formal. The next few that I'm going to give you are very informal. These are only how you would address friends or family members. You wouldn't address coworkers or people that you don't know on the street with these. The first is привет. And this is another one that you're going to learn in school. They teach it all the time. In fact, a lot of schools just teach this as the way to say hello because it's easier than saying здравствуйте. But you don't want to come up to a stranger on the street and say привет. That's a little rude. Привет. Привет. Okay, just like in the formal where we said как ваши дела, right? How are your doings? You can just drop the ваши and just say как дела. And that's how are you doing? Привет. Как дела? Hey, how's it going? That's what that is. Как дела? Okay, this is how friends generally greet each other when they want to be really casual, kind of like when we say, hey, what's up? You know, they say здоров. Здоров. And it literally just means health. It's like, but that's how they greet each other all the time. In fact, I always enjoyed it when I was over there and people that I knew would come and say, здоров. You know, I just thought that was kind of cool. It's a very welcoming and encompassing sort of way of saying, you know, hey, how's it going? All right, here's another one that always got a lot of laughs, and I'm not exactly sure why, maybe because I was a foreigner and I knew how to say it, but it's как жизнь молодая. It's how is your young life? There may be some sort of humor going on there in the Russian language that I don't understand, but whenever I said that, and you want to be careful, again, this is informal, but whenever I said that, they always kind of chuckled a little bit, and then they would give me the answer if it's going well or not or whatnot. Right, and the last one is kind of fun here. It's сколько лет, сколько зим. So it's how many years, how many winters. And it's sort of equivalent to our long time no see. So obviously you're not going to say that on the street to your friends if you're just, you know, hey, how's it going there? But if you hadn't seen a friend in several years, or you know how in English, if we say, okay, I'll see you tomorrow, and then they turn right around and they come back 5 seconds later and you're like, oh, long time no see. They kind of say that same little joke there as well. Сколько лет, сколько зим. Same thing there. I want to give you one other little tidbit at the end here. In Russian, when you ask someone, you know, how are you getting along? Как вы поживаете? Or how are you doing? Как ваши дела? Or как вы живете? How are you living? It's a literal question, and they're going to give you a literal answer. In America, you know, it's just a standard greeting. Hi, how are you doing? Fine. We don't really want to know, oh my gosh, you know. But in Russia, you're going to get that. They'll be like, oh, ничего. You know, they'll say something like, oh, you know, nothing. Don't ask her. Ой, тяжело. Oh, it's so hard. You know, something like that. So just be a little prepared for that. It's not that they're dumping all their problems on you or you're like, whoa, what's going on here? It's just a cultural thing. When you ask, they're going to give you a real answer. I kind of always like that. I think it's a little more endearing, it's a little more sincere, and it's a little more real than what we get here in America. Okay, I hope that works for you. Memorize those greetings, and you're going to come across to your Russian counterparts in a much more professional way and make a better impression. Ну хорошо, тогда это все. Спасибо и увидимся.